longest minutes ever.
Of course, because you're staring at it. It's going to be
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Trustee Khan?
Here.
Trustee Meeks?
Here.
Trustee Sheba is absent with notice. Trustee Phil? Here. Trustee Travis?
Here.
Trustee White?
Here.
Mayor Whitcomb?
Here. Thank you. Can I get an approval of the minutes from our regular meeting of June 9th?
I'll make the motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of June 9th, 2026.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Mink, seconded by Trustee Khan. Any questions, corrections? Hearing none, please call the vote. Or all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, public hearings, none. Special reports. I'm going to ask Zoe Hydorn to come to the podium to discuss 8125 to 45 River Drive and 8120 to 40 Lehigh Avenue request for Cook County Property Class 6B tax incentive.
All right, good evening, Mayor and trustees. It is my pleasure to present a request for a Class 6B Cook County tax incentive for the property at 8125 through 45 River Drive and 8120 through 40 Lehigh Avenue by Midwest RE Acquisitions. This is a subsidiary of Bridge Industrial, which recently rebranded as Curve Industrial. The resolution formally consenting to and authorizing Curve's 6B application to Cook County is being presented by Trustee White under Resolution 2641. My presentation will summarize the village administrator's June 9th presentation and respond and provide new information in response to questions and concerns raised by the village board and the community since then. So the Class 6B program is a Cook County property tax incentive program designed to encourage industrial development and enhance the county's competitiveness in a high-cost market. There are currently hundreds of Class 6B designations in Cook County. There are three types of industrial projects eligible to receive the 12-year incentive: new construction, a substantial rehabilitation, and reoccupancy of vacant property. There are also special circumstances that the county can approve. A property with a 6B designation will be assessed at 10% of the new market value as opposed to 25% for years 1 through 10, an equivalent of a 60% property tax reduction. This tapers to the equivalent of a 40% reduction in year 11 and a 20% reduction in year 12. In year 13, the full tax load comes online. The 6B program promotes industrial development by temporarily reducing the property tax burden on qualifying projects. This offsets Cook County's comparatively high property taxes, making it more competitive with neighboring counties like DuPage County to invest in. For example, the effective tax rate for commercial and industrial properties in DuPage generally ranges from 1.8 to 2.5%. In Cook County, it ranges from 2.5 to more than 4%. With construction and financing costs continuing to rise, the Class 6B incentive helps attract and retain new industrial investment. As you are well aware, the village has never passed a resolution supporting a Class 6B, which is a requirement of Cook County's program. We have received many inquiries as recently as last week and this week, and a handful of formal requests, but no project has been of a scale and level of an investment that warrants and justifies the incentive until today. In the case of new construction, the Class 6B property tax reduction will not become effective until construction is completed, and the reduced assessment will be based on the building's new valuation, not the existing value. The incentive does not reduce the amount of taxes collected by the taxing district. Instead, like other routine increases and decreases in the tax base due to appeals or recertifications, the tax burden is redistributed among all properties in the districts. So staff surveyed all of the Class 6B designations approved within the last 10 years. As you can see that this is an incentive that is a common tool in the north suburbs, the northwest suburbs, and across Cook County. It has been used in many nearby communities, including Niles, Skokie, Evanston, Des Plaines, Mount Prospect, Glenview, and Northbrook, just to name a few. So the project we are looking at tonight is at the intersection of Lehigh Avenue and Park and River Drive. It's an 11-acre site zoned office/research manufacturing and improved with 2 office buildings. As of today, the owner reports over 75% vacancy with just 2 tenants remaining. By comparison, in 2017, there were 11 tenants. Despite collective efforts to improve the property's marketability by way of rezoning to expand the list of allowed uses, the owner has continued to face difficulties leasing the property for years, which staff can attest to. Proposals received by staff to date have included therapeutic and healthcare uses, speculative industrial development, meaning the end user is unknown, and tax-exempt uses. Staff is confident that without intervention, occupancy will continue to decline, and building and maintenance costs will become unjustifiable, resulting in more reassessments and diminishing property tax revenue. So we foresee 3 likely scenarios for redevelopment or no redevelopment. The first assumes a vacancy remains at 75% as it is today or increases to potentially 100%. Without sufficient rental income, maintenance and tax costs become difficult to justify. The owner could recover demolition costs within 2 years through property tax savings associated with the vacant land assessment. The owner may choose to maintain the vacant property until market conditions are more favorable while absorbing losses as part of a broader investment strategy, which we know is not uncommon, unfortunately. The second scenario is approval of the project being presented tonight by Curve, which stabilizes the property tax bill, ensures against additional loss in tax revenue, and significantly increases the assessed value and tax base over time. The third scenario is kind of an unknown, but maybe an alternative or industrial or institutional use. The industrial redevelopment would similarly require a 6B to justify the construction costs, if new. An institutional reuse or redevelopment might have larger and more permanent tax impacts. And we know that this site and market conditions will not support office, commercial, or residential development for many years to come at least. So the proposed project you see here before you today, for more than a year, the Village and Curve have worked together to shape a project that is thoughtfully designed for the site, responsive to community priorities, and is consistent with the long-term vision for this area, which is experiencing changes. Curve is proposing an approximately 170,000 square foot build-to-suit project for BBJ La Tavola, a table linen fabrication and rental business that is proudly relocating its headquarters from Niles to Morton Grove. The $31 million project will entail complete site redevelopment, significant tenant improvements, environmental remediation, and public infrastructure improvements at the developer's sole expense. The property's current tax bill is just over $1 million, as we know, but the owner has appealed the assessment based on the 75% vacancy condition, which is not disputed. If approved, the tax bill will be reduced by approximately 40%. The village's independent consultant, so the consultant hired by the village for this project and many others for several years, expects the appeal to be approved and has conservatively applied the 75% vacancy assessed value as the baseline for its tax projections and comparisons. We see 4 possible tax bill scenarios associated with the scenarios. Number 1 is demolition. If the building is demolished, we could see a tax bill as low as $128,000 per year, maybe less, maybe more. Under scenario 2, with a 75% vacancy assessment, which we expect to be granted, the tax bill would drop to about $634,000 in the first year. We also don't expect the owner to be able to justify even this tax burden in the long term, given the current rental status generated by the 2 tenants. The third scenario is if the building is miraculously reoccupied, which we know to be very unlikely. In this case, we would continue to see a $1 million tax bill with modest increases. And under 4, the fourth scenario, with the proposed project, the Class B, the initial tax bill would be around $614,000. The taxes increase significantly in years 11 and 12, and by year 13, when the incentive ends, the tax bill will be over $2 million, which is double what it is today. This fourth scenario provides certainty that the site will maintain stable tax revenue during the incentive period and generate nearly double what the property is generating today after the incentive ends. And this slide provides a comparison of the total tax bill for the 12-year period across the different scenarios. You'll see that the Class 6B scenario over 12 years still generates $9.7 million to the districts, which is more than the 2 more likely scenarios under no redevelopment. We also know that this $14.6 million tax bill is unlikely given existing market conditions. I'm sorry for the long presentation, but it's important. Here we see the 4 different redevelopment scenarios and the projected tax generation by year. In the fourth 6B scenario, the taxes generated within the initial 10 years of the incentive are slightly less than those generated under the 75% vacancy assessment, which we expect to be approved this year. In year 11, though, we see the taxes jump to $1.15 million as the incentive begins to taper off. In year 12, $1.65 million, and then the full tax load comes online at $2 million. You see by this, this 6B scenario compared to the other 3, we're going to be better off in the long run with the 6B. Now we see it charted. 4 different redevelopment scenarios and the projected tax generation by year. In years 11 and 13 and beyond, the taxes jump significantly as the incentive tapers off. Ultimately, the proposed redevelopment generates substantially greater long-term tax revenue than the likely alternatives. At the last village board meeting, the trustees asked us to conduct an analysis and review the project's potential tax impact on other properties. Our independent consultant calculated the projected tax impact per $500,000 of assessed value for residential, commercial, and industrial properties. Compared to the 75% vacancy scenario, which we anticipate to be this year, a homeowner with a $500,000 property would pay an average of $5.29 more per year during the first 10 years. So there's a modest impact. As the Class 6B incentive phases out, that reverses to an estimated $37 in annual savings in year 11, $87 in year 12, and more than $135 in year 13, with savings continuing thereafter. So with an estimated impact of $5.29 per year for a $500,000 home, we also have the impacts for the commercial and industrial properties. $14 for commercial per $500,000 in valuation and $15 per $500,000 in industrial. The project safeguards against more undesirable tax scenarios. Compared to the worser case 100% vacancy or vacant land scenarios, the project preserves and stabilizes the tax base, preventing further declines in tax revenue and mitigating further property tax shift to other taxpayers. By the end of the 10-year incentive period, the property will return to the regular tax rolls at its full assessed value and begin reducing the tax burden for other taxpayers. The incentive is temporary, but the benefits of the increased assessed value and future property tax growth extend far beyond the 12-year 6B period. We'd like to note that these tax impact scenarios are being presented under very perfect conditions. Realistically, property tax appeals by large industrial and commercial properties or changes in tax classifications routinely shift tax burden among all taxpayers without our awareness. A question came up at the June 9th board meeting questioning whether the reduced assessment rate will be on the current valuation or the future after redevelopment. We are clarifying that the incentive will be on the new property valuation, which is estimated to be $20.4 million today, growing to $27.4 million by the end of the incentive term. This project adds significant new assessed value to the tax base and will begin reducing tax burdens for other properties beginning in year 11. The village will not support a renewal on this project, and staff is proposing a moratorium on 6Bs until a policy is approved by board action. So as with all incentive requests, the village's independent consultant reviewed the developer's pro forma with and without the proposed incentive using the internal rate of return, IRR, to evaluate whether the incentive is necessary and appropriately sized. The village has no interest in enriching developers or providing assistance if it is not necessary. Without the incentive, Johnson Research Group calculated the project to have an IRR of 2.2%, indicating it is not financially feasible. With the Class B, 6B, the IRR increases to 13.3%, which is well within the village's acceptable range and supports the conclusion that the incentive is warranted but not excessive. These numbers underline that without the Class 6B, the project will not move forward. The project comes with an array of benefits to the community and to the village. Specifically, the $30 million in new investment enhances the local tax base and brings over 250 new jobs to Morton Grove. The developer has committed $100,000 in new money to new public street lighting along Lehigh Avenue and to repaving Park Avenue at a cost of roughly $350,000. Unlike most industrial businesses, BBJ La Tavola will generate over $40,000 in local sales tax to the village every year. The property will be remediated for past contaminants. The area will benefit from new stormwater infrastructure, and the village will have a beautiful new LEED certified building along the Lehigh Avenue corridor, leading to its TOD area. In summary, if the village board does not approve a Class 6B for this project, it's okay, but we know that the project will not proceed and that the village will be looking toward a future of unknowns for this property. Very likely a decline in occupancy and potentially full demolition and diminishing tax revenues. A Class 6B incentive is a targeted, efficient, and transparent economic development tool. It does not divert taxes from districts. It is property specific, and it provides a more immediate tax benefit to the base than a new TIF district would. This project with the 6B provides predictability in the tax base, safeguards against property tax spikes for other taxpayers in the short term, and reduces the tax burden on other taxpayers in the long run. This project sets an incredibly high standard for industrial redevelopment in the village and use of the Class 6B tool in Morton Grove. With a proposed moratorium on new applications to provide time to assess impacts and develop a board-approved policy of review, we can ensure that the tool continues to be used responsibly and in a manner that ensures the best outcomes for the village and its taxpayers. Again, I'm sorry for the long presentation.
We appreciate the long presentation, and I know you could do this in your sleep because I just would like everyone to know that you've met with every board member one-on-one so we could dig into all of this together, understand it all, and I really appreciate your time on that, and I hope the public appreciates this level of detail as well. I'm going to ask the trustees to hold questions until Trustee White is actually reading this into the record so that we can hear from the public first before we make comments. So you'll probably have to come back up at that point.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I don't know if you're presenting the Plan Commission reports, but you want to take some water before you do that?
All right. If you're ready.
I'm ready.
On behalf of staff who have been planning for this day for many years, I am proud to present Plan Commission Case PC 2607, a request by the Village of Morton Grove for approval of a special use permit for municipal buildings and governmental offices and other facilities, a minor subdivision, and a vacation for the property at 6201 Dempster Street, all within a C1 General Commercial District and an R3 General Residence District, with waivers for accessory structures, fences, landscaping, off-street parking, and signage. The village is proposing to reuse an existing 37,800 square foot office building formerly operated as a Fifth Third bank branch and construct a 13,400 square foot addition for use as a combined village hall and police department facility. The facility will house and support the operation of the police department, administration, finance department, and Department of Community and Economic Development, including building and inspectional services, which are currently based out of this beautiful building here. On June 2nd, 2026, the Appearance Commission reviewed the application and unanimously approved an appearance certificate for the project and forwarded a recommendation of approval. On June 4th, the Traffic Safety Commission also unanimously recommended approval of the application with comments. At the June 16th public hearing, the Plan Commission considered case PC 2607 and also unanimously voted to recommend approval of the application subject to conditions relating to project design and site operations. If approved at the July 28th Village Board meeting, the village will proceed with project permitting in 2026, followed by construction beginning in 2027 and completion in 2028. This legacy project represents a once-in-a-lifetime investment in the village's operations. We look forward to replacing this facility with a modern, accessible, and purpose-built municipal center designed to better serve residents for decades to come. This project reflects years of hard work and planning by staff and the board. The village's commitment for responsible stewardship of public resources and dollars. We thank the mayor and the trustees for their ongoing support. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for her on that? No? Okay. Residents' comments on agenda items only. If anyone would like to speak to agenda items, please come to the microphone. Go ahead. It's on the agenda. And you have 4 minutes, just so you
Yeah,
know.
could you put that thing back up? My name's Christopher Manx. I live at 8538 Morton. I'm not a public speaker. I'm a mailman. My watch is going off because I'm sure my blood pressure's through the moon right now. I deliver mail there. Where you're turning around and saying that this building is the vacancy. They kicked everybody out. They stopped renewing leases. It started about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago when they made Celtic leave. And they're doing this on purpose, and I'm assuming that's when this whole development came about, because this doesn't come up overnight. I'm sure this has been 18 months in the works, 2 years in the works. You know, it's just, they could easily re-rent this place. The Rose Group building that's on, across the street from Menard, full. It's full. There's a waiting list to get in. Park Avenue building, where Michael's is, full. There's a wait list to get in there. Just north of your building at 8300 Lehigh, there's people wanting to get in there, and that's full. So this telling you that, oh my God, it's going to go vacant. No, it's not. They kicked everybody out. They're not mowing the grass. They're not keeping upkeep. All the plants inside died. They're not cleaning the bathrooms. There's 2 urinals broken because they don't give a shit anymore. I'm sorry, they don't care anymore. It's just ridiculous that you want to. I don't understand why TIF money can't be used for this, because they're not going to make enough money. I mean, a couple $1 million, they're going to make probably $9-10 million over the course of the 10 years. And I had an old postmaster that always told us, figures never lie, but liars figure all the time. That Johnson Group, you hired them, so I'm sure they're going to say whatever the hell you want. I mean, no disrespect to them or anything, but that's just the way business works. So it just blows my mind that Morton Grove's never done a 6B, and now all of a sudden we're going to give 6B to this, but then we're going to come up with some kind of ordinance that if we're going to do 6B in the future, why didn't Sawmill get 6B? That was falling apart. Now, when did 6B come about? I don't know. But this is ridiculous. And the $5, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it all day long. And then when people get their tax bills, because it's going to take a few years to work out, 2029, 2030, who knows? Jesus Christ. So that's all I got to say. I'm going to go nuts.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Michael Tracy, 8110 River, 8120 River. Thank you for your time. We as taxpayers of Morton Grove should believe in fair competition and not picking winners and losers. That's not the village's job, to pick winners and losers, and that's what's happening here. There's no financial benefit to the citizens of Morton Grove for this project. The current vacancies have been created by the current owner of the property as they actively are not pursuing new leases. We, the taxpayers of Morton Grove, are going to fund the future development, Curve Bridge, their lawyers, consultants, along with village lawyers and consultants. We are currently paying lawyers and consultants to complete market research on the developer's behalf. So in other words, we're paying to put all this together for the developer. It seems unheard of that we're partnering with this developer, providing consultants reports. Everybody's gung-ho on, we got to go with this project because we don't know what's going to happen. What do you mean what's going to happen? It's a perfectly viable manufacturing district building, okay, for what it's zoned for or slight zoning variance to put in what Chris indicated, additional office and warehouses. There's always going to be a need for that. Y'all know how I feel about the big box building going in front of my buildings, and I'm not very pleased about it. Furthermore, I'm not pleased in having to help pay his taxes. All these numbers up here, that's $5. I don't know where you're doing your math, but maybe you can do some investing for me at that rate. We looked at some of the consultants of the other towns that have put together applications for the 6B or have applied for it or got it. Nothing of this magnitude showed up on your consultant's report. Those are 18,000-foot buildings, 22,000-foot buildings. Some of them were not even built yet, and they were passed and approved 2 years ago. And those are all the buildings mentioned in there, in Franklin Park, Northbrook. I looked up all the buildings and the properties. So I don't believe that consultant's report. They put together a bunch of mumbo jumbo that I'm not buying. Lots of talk about 250 new jobs in Morton Grove. I don't see the immediate upside to this as they are moving 2 blocks north and are already here in the community. These employees already live, play, and work here. This is not 250 new families coming from out of town. Still no evidence of a signed lease. The decision has long and far-reached implications for the next 12 to 20 years for the village. So the decision you make tonight is going to have a 12 to 20-year effect because they can renew it. I heard Zoe say, well, we're going to draw up language that they can't renew it, but I don't believe in 12 years we're going to pick up the 7 or 10 million at $5 a head. And you show me that the commercial property is going to pick up 15, never going to happen. Never going to happen. Who's footing the tax bill for all these TIF projects that have been going on in the last, how many years? We'll just go back 10 years. There's over $20 million worth of money that's not flowing into the county tax system. It's going into the town's tax system. Well, who's better to handle the money, the town or the county? Hey, the town is doing great. We still have
That's
to pick up
time.
the burden of the county.
That's time,
picking that
Mr.
up?
Tracy, sorry.
Finally, this is clearly an unfair shift of a tax burden from the developer's responsibility onto the citizens and businesses of Morton Grove. I have to compete with these people. And how do you compete when they tie your hands up? And that's what you're doing.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak?
Good evening. My name is Tim Larson. I represent the ownership, the current ownership. I certainly understand the residents' concerns. I would share that we've owned the building for more than 10 years. It is our objective throughout the country to rehabilitate and create value for, if you will, distressed properties. It's what we do. We have tried for 10 years to stabilize the building, create occupancy of close to 90%. When we acquired the building, Land of Nod, which is a part of Crate and Barrel, exited the building. We tried desperately to try and retain them, offering significant incentives in order to do so. They left a beautiful building, a beautiful site, something that you would like to think is very releasable. We have tried for 10 years, and some of the things that we have continued to do is offer free rent to many tenants, sometimes as much as 12 months, that people can come in and occupy and help try and rehabilitate it and create the occupancy that we need. We've done everything within our power that we know, and we do this successfully throughout the country, and we have been unable to achieve any kind of traction or occupancy throughout that 10 years. Maintaining the building in a professional manner has been a challenge. When HVAC goes out and there's nobody there, we're still obligated to do that. And again, that's just the wear and tear in that building is 20 years. For us to re-let that space, to bring in a tenants, will cost us millions and millions of dollars in real estate commissions, in incentives, that we were absolutely would be delighted to do if we could find the tenants to do so. We've found in this particular case, the highest and best use seems to be somebody else to take on the project. And in doing so, we believe that development is a viable solution. So I think we rely on the Curve team as a developer to navigate those issues. And I think they've presented a pretty reasonable solution to continue to grow for the village in the future. But again, I would share to the residents, we have tried everything in our power to try and make this successful. And we've, unfortunately, one of the very incredibly few things, we've just not been able to accomplish that the way we've normally done. So thank you for your time. I appreciate your listening.
Thank you. Anybody else to speak?
I'll be short. Tom Dorr, 9225 Luna. Now, if their business plan is to rehab buildings and they don't have funds to do it, don't do it. And if you need extra money, give us stock in your investment in your project. Why don't we have that if we're financing their project? But going back to some of the figures that were up, to me, it's not believable that one of the uses could have been residential development when right down the street, it seems like there's always highly successful developments, and I think they're all sold. So that, to me, is just not a believable statement. So if that's not a believable statement, a lot of the other stuff isn't believable to me either. And what if their development is not a success? Do they have a tenant yet? If it's not a success, then we're putting all this money out, and we still have vacant property. And last item is that it's not believable to me that we pay the extra dollars for the taxes being spread out amongst everybody else, that our tax bill will ever go down when the tax incentive is gone. It's not believable that it'll be decreased. That's it for me.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Rob Busum, 8110, 8120 River Drive. I'll try to be brief as well, too. I do appreciate the hardships that this current owner has. I only wish that the village took as much concern in the hardships that every business owner is facing. I don't understand why, because they particularly are lost a tenant. We lose tenants at our apartments, at our commercial properties on a regular basis, and we're responsible for figuring out how to make our businesses succeed and continue without coming with the hat in the hand with our hands out. So, you know, I'm sorry, not sorry. You know, everybody runs into tough market conditions. There have been no discussions on the repurposing of the existing site without the 6B assistance. They gave you 4 examples of the vacancy, the demo, the reduced rent. There needed to be a 5th column, and the 5th column shows the tax rate without 6B, and it's significant. So my biggest question is, Johnson Consulting came up and said, this is not a viable project at 2.2%, which I don't believe that 2.2%, because do we know how much they're going to be charging? Do we know how much what the lease incentives are? So I don't understand where they came up with that number. But has anyone asked Curve directly on the record, is this project dead without 6B? Johnson Consulting says it is, but has Curve actually said, hey guys, if you don't pass this, we are walking? I'm genuinely interested to know if anyone's actually had that face-to-face question with them. And if they say, well, maybe we could work it out. Well, what are we even doing here? These guys have got tons of institutional money backing them. I just absolutely don't understand why they would come and ask for over $10 million tax break over 12 years. It's a very dangerous precedent. I appreciate the moratorium considerations. Any new business coming into Morton Grove is going to absolutely be coming with their head in hand saying, what's in this for us now? They got $10 million. This is a big 6B. We looked up all the 6Bs. These are other buildings, 10,000 square foot buildings, putting a new roof on their building and getting a tax break. This is a significant tax shift to the taxpayers, the business owners, and the multifamily owners. And again, the consultants, I think that they're using very rosy, and again, we also have to acknowledge that everything is a hypothetical. Everything that they put up here tonight is a hypothetical. We don't know. All we know is what's there now, and we have no idea what's going to happen in the next year. Someone could come up in 5 years and put a new building up there. That's not in that projection, right? Someone could come up in 2 years. The IRS may come back and say, hey, we'll rent that spot again in 3 years. What happens in year 7? Someone might come along in year 7. Like, I don't get how we think that nothing is going to happen on this plot of land for the next 20 years. Something's going to happen. And I don't think we need to hand out over $10 million to a heavily subsidized institutional organization that has the deep pockets to pull this off without a 6B, and I think they could be very profitable doing it without the 6B. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Going once? No? Okay. Thank you. President's report. So hopefully many of you made it to our Morton Grove days. Unfortunately, Mother Nature was not very kind to us. But we did have some good times while we were there, and I just wanted to thank those who helped, again, publicly, the people on the Morton Grove Days Commission. This includes Paul Minks, Rita Minks, Terry Kusar, Georgianne Bruner, Lisa Rothundi, Katie Napolitano, Nancy Leong, former Mayor Dan DiMaria, Bill Burns, Deputy Police Chief Eric Ficht, Jeff Waite, Marty O'Brien, Wanda Robles, Boyle Wong, Zoe Hydorn, Elizabeth Coulter, and Amy Raffel. So thank you so much for that. I also want to talk about, on tonight's agenda, we're going to be considering a resolution approving a lease agreement with Complimentary Cafe in our metro station. And we want to recognize that their proposal, which stood out for its professionalism and community focus and was submitted earlier this year by its founder and owner, Riaz Ali. During the village's brief interactions with Riaz, we came to know him as a warm, thoughtful, creative, and generous person who cared deeply about his family, his community, and his business. Sadly, Riaz passed away on March 31st. His brother Ahmad, with the support of their family, stepped in to carry forward Riaz's vision for their Morton Grove expansion with the same dedication and care. Although Ahmad could not be here tonight, I'd like to welcome his family who are with us this evening, if you raise your hand. And we are deeply sorry for your profound loss, and we're glad you're still moving forward with this. We look forward to welcoming you and Complimentary Cafe to the Morton Grove community. That is it for my reports. Clerk's report.
None tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Staff report, Village Administrator.
No report.
Thank you. Corporation Counsel. No report. Reports by trustees. Trustee Khan.
No report.
Trustee Minks.
No report.
Trustee Sheba's absent. Trustee Thill.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a couple of resolutions. I have Resolution 2639. It's authorizing a contract with Alliance Allied Incorporated for Fire Station 4 window replacement project. The existing windows and glass entrance systems at Fire Station 4 have reached the end of their useful life and require replacements to improve energy efficiency, weather resistance aesthetics, and reduce long-term maintenance cost. The project includes the removal and replacement of existing windows and designated glass door entrances systems while maintaining uninterrupted emergency operations at the 24-hour fire station. The station's about 55 years old, and I guess when you have a home that's 55 years old, you're replacing windows also. So I move that we approve Resolution 2639.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Thill, seconded by trustee Minks. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Con?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Thill?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
I have 5 with 1 absent. Motion passes.
Thank you.
I have Resolution 2640. It's authorizing the purchase of gasoline and diesel fuel from A1 or L Warren Oil Company Incorporated through the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative. This is a one-year contract, and I move we accept Resolution 2640.
Second?
Motion made by trustee Thill, seconded by trustee Travis. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Con?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Thill?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Motion passes. 5 with 1 absent.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Trustee Travis?
Yes, thank you. Some Community Relations Commission business. The summer photo contest has begun accepting submissions for the summer 2026 photo contest. The event will run until September 1st, with winning photos being acknowledged at a future board meeting and being displayed at Village Hall. The contest invites residents to capture the spirit of what makes the village special, and you can submit your photos through the village's website, as well as the Outstanding Neighbor Award. We are currently accepting nominations for the Outstanding Neighbor Awards. If you have a neighbor who goes above and beyond to create community and help out those around them, please visit the village's website to nominate them. And that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee White?
Yes, I have some ordinances and resolutions. I'm going to start with ordinance 26-14. This is approving a preliminary plat of subdivision and special use permit with associated waivers for a warehouse and light manufacturing use at the property commonly known as 8125 to 8145 River Drive and 8120 to 8140 Lehigh Avenue in Morton Grove. Some background on this is the application was presented to the Plan Commission back in June of 25 and continued multiple times to allow additional review, revisions, and public input. Following the submission of revised application materials in February 26, the Plan Commission considered the updated proposal at its March 12, 26 meeting and voted 3-3 to recommend approval of the application, resulting in no recommendation of approval to the village board. The applicant presented additional modifications to the village board on April 28, 26, and requested that the case be remanded to the Plan Commission for further consideration. At the public hearing held on May 19th of 26, the Plan Commission voted unanimously 6-0 to recommend approval of the application and the revised plans with conditions relating to truck traffic generation, final design, and infrastructure improvements. I move to accept ordinance 26-14 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee White, seconded by trustee Thill. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, please call,
Yeah, I'd like
ahead,
to make a
Rebecca.
comment.
Yes.
This particular development, we've been considering for well over a year now, as trustee White had said. And this is something that I think all of us have wrestled with at one time or another. And I think it's important that as residents and trustees, that we realize that there have been other developments in the past that have not always pleased the residents and they fought against. Sometimes we listened to them and sometimes we did not. And one instance where we did not had to do with the stable that's up on Gulf and Central. The residents were very much opposed to us annexing that property. The residents that lived right there were very opposed to it, and the board chose not to annex it. Fast forward 10 to 15 years, those residents moved out of town, and the new residents that lived there were upset with the state of the property because since we didn't annex it, the county did. and the county did nothing for it. And then they came yelling at the village, why weren't we cleaning this up? And the thing is once those properties and stuff come out of our jurisdiction, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. So the fact that we give a lot of attention to these developments, I think lets you know that your trustees are working hard for the things that we think are going to make the village better over the next 5, 10, 20 years. And that's the end of my comment.
Thank you. Please call the, anybody else? Please call the vote.
Trustee Con?
Aye.
Trustee Meeks?
Aye.
Trustee Thel?
Aye.
Trustee Travis? Aye. Trustee White?
Aye.
Motion passes 5 with 1 absent.
Thank you.
Okay, my next ordinance is 26-15. This is approving a special use permit for municipal buildings and governmental offices and other facilities, a minor subdivision, and a vacation for the property commonly known as 6201 Dempster Street in Morton Grove. This is a first read, so there's no action tonight. Next, I have Resolution 26-41. This is a resolution authorizing and consenting to a Cook County Class 6B property tax rate incentive designation for the real property commonly known as 8125 to 8145 River Drive and 8120 to 8140 Lehigh Avenue, Morton Grove, as identified as property index numbers 10-20-303, -001-0000 and 10-20-303-002-0000. The resolution also establishes conditions that the applicant must satisfy in exchange for the village's support, including full compliance with Ordinance 26-14, approving a subdivision for the subject property and special use permit assigned to BBJ La Travola, deadlines to commence and complete construction, compliance with Cook County Class 6B requirements, and ongoing reporting obligations. Failure to satisfy these conditions may result in the village seeking termination of the Class 6B property tax incentive. I move to accept Resolution 26-41 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee White, seconded by trustee Minks. Questions?
I have a question for the staff. If Zoe or Chuck can help us understand the renewal terms that we will be doing for this tax incentive for this particular project?
There is the possibility to do a renewal near the end of the term. However, in the resolution itself, thanks to feedback from elected officials, including Mayor Wicko, we do not anticipate nor would recommend the renewal of this project. So that's actually built into the approving resolution, is the intent of this board that this would not be renewed.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
So to be clear, it is part of the ordinance that it will not be renewed. Thank you.
I'd like to make some comments because my earlier comments were based on this particular resolution. I know people have said giving them $10 million is not always the best thing, but there was an instance 20 some odd years ago when the Woodlands came into being in a TIF district that we were chastised for giving the Woodlands a $6 million gift. They were supposed to build something, chose not to do it, and they wanted the money for that. And the board went along with it. At that time, I was new on the board, and like I said, we were chastised. Well, that particular TIF district is the most successful in the state of Illinois that has come in. So the $6 million we gave them probably did go into their pockets. However, how many years later, 2 to 5, they were all out of business. So we got something really great for the effort that we put into it. I think the fact that they're investing $30 million for this particular project We're getting some newly built roads. I know I spoke to the Public Works Director this evening. We have about 100 miles of roads that we have to take care of at any given time. If you've driven over the roads in Morton Grove, some of them are excellent and some of them are, excuse me, graded poorly. So the fact that we're getting some help with some of the roads, I think, is a nice thing. They're taking care of stormwater detention. They're adding streetlights on Lehigh. We're trying to make Lehigh our manufacturing district. If you drive around Niles, if you drive around Skokie, and you see all the manufacturing districts that they have going on, I kept saying to both Zoe and Chuck, why doesn't Morton Grove have any of those things? And quite frankly, I think it's because we were not looking at investing in some of our manufacturing districts. I questioned the $5 amount because just doing the math itself, based on the amount of money that would be left for the taxes divided by the number of property deliveries that are in Morton Grove, it would be about $60 a year. That was my very, very rough figuring. I waited for the Johnson Group to come up with their figures, and in my opinion, $5 to $6 a year for 12 years is not that amount of money to put into the investment in Morton Grove, a town that my husband was born and raised in, that I have lived in most of my life. My children were born and raised in town. And the fact that we want to continue to see the town to grow, I don't think is a bad investment at all. Yes, there is a tentative lease, in my opinion. I haven't asked all the questions, and BBJ Travolta, I've looked at their operation, and I appreciate what they've done. And I think the $40,000 to $50,000 that they'd be bringing in tax revenue, sales tax revenue, is something you don't see in the industrial area. So these are just some of the things that have gone through and that I've notated and looked at throughout this year and a half that this project has been on the books and becoming before us. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I do want to clarify that there is a condition that BBJ is the leaseholder. So, anybody else? Okay. I would just like to say a couple of comments, that Johnson Research Group is hired to protect us, not for the developer, and they're using realistic numbers, not rosy numbers. Also, a couple of things that Rob pointed out is that the other properties that have been granted 6B throughout this area are smaller, not as large, and I think that speaks to how Morton Grove would use this if we ever do again, that it has to be something of this magnitude and benefit to the company for us, community for us to even consider it. And we are looking at the future and the benefit to us in the future. And being on this board for 14 years, I can tell you I have not seen one project that has gone through the scrutiny or has been asked to change, not nearly as much as this one project. So it has gone through the ringer because we all want to be comfortable with it, make sure we understood everything, so we could be confident, or the trustees could be confident with their votes. So, anybody else?
Can I just ask, I know you mentioned a lot of the project benefits, Trustee Mings, you mentioned a lot of them as well. What are the benefits of having a building that's LEED certified?
So the LEED certification is really a design standard that encourages sustainability, really energy conservation, and it's something that really goes to the policies that we've promoted through the ENRC. So it really is designed to be a more sustainable building and be a benefit to the community, but also really help achieve those goals we've established through our own ENRC committee.
One other point, any money that we have spent on Johnson Research Group, we have an agreement with Curve that they are reimbursing us for it. So I want to just let you know that. Thank you. Anyway, anybody else? Okay, hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Con?
Before I say my vote, I had few comments that I had written down. I'm just going to read it, supporting my vote, what I'm voting for. First of all, I totally agree with the amount of time that the staff has spent and the Board of Trustees too. We had individually gone and seen the business operation and had so many questions for the staff. Residents had questions. So I want to thank the staff for the extensive research and the analysis that you guys have done and provided the explanation. I want to give my reasons first why I'm voting the way I'm voting. After reviewing the materials and the analysis conducted by the Johnson Research Group, I'm comfortable supporting the 6B incentive because the evidence demonstrates that, but for this incentive, the project is unlikely to move forward. And with this project, while I understand the concerns that have been raised, I do believe this proposal represents an opportunity to transform a property that has struggled for so many years into significant investment for the community. So this project, which is bringing such a big private investment and hundreds of new jobs, I appreciate what this business is going to bring for Morton Grove, and we haven't taken this decision serious. I mean, we've taken this very seriously, and our responsibility is to make these decisions that are best for the Morton Grove and for the long-term success. So with that being said, my vote for this motion that's been proposed is a yes, and I vote yes for 6B, tax incentive.
Trustee Meeks?
My vote is also yes for many of the reasons I stated earlier. I think that Morton Grove needs to put money into our manufacturing district. Many people have said over the years you need a good combination of manufacturing, commercial, and residential. I do not want to see this town turn into all one or the other. And I think the fact that Curve has spent so much time working with us over the last year and a half shows their dedication, and the fact that BBJ Travolta has stuck with this project and wants to come into town. I think as a whole, that shows a lot for the dedication of these people and our dedication back to them. So my vote is yes.
Trustee Thel?
Doing nothing on this project is the worst thing we could do. My vote is yes.
Trustee Travis? Yes. Trustee White? Yes. Mayor, that passes 5 with 1 absent.
Thank you.
Okay, next I have Resolution 26-42. This is establishing a moratorium on improving new applications for Cook County Class 6B property tax rate incentive designation. The village has determined that no applications received after the effective date of this resolution shall be approved. I move to accept as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee White, seconded by trustee Travis. Any questions or clarifications?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
According to what this was just read, that we will not have any other 6Bs. Could it be that when an application, if an application in the future comes for a 6B, that we would at least look into it, rather than just point blankly saying no?
So the board always will have the ability to rescind this moratorium. I will say the moratorium is written that someone could still apply for one. However, the default answer would be no. The board always is able to rescind that, but it would have to be a very high threshold for us to even bring it to the board's consideration in light of this moratorium.
Okay, thank you.
And the goal is to develop a policy as well. Anybody else?
Trustee Cott?
Aye.
Trustee Meeks?
Aye.
Trustee Thel?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Mayor, that passes 5 with 1 absent.
Thank you.
Okay, and last I have Resolution 26-43. This is authorizing an agreement with the Complimentary Cafe, MGM LLC, for the lease of retail space at the Morton Grove Metro Station at 8501 Lehigh Avenue in Morton Grove. The proposed resolution authorizes the village administrator to execute a 5-year lease agreement with Complimentary Cafe, MGM LLC, for the retail space at the Morton Grove Metro Station. The lease includes 2 optional automatic 5-year renewal terms exercisable in accordance with the terms of the agreement. Approval of the lease will activate the Metro station's retail space, enhance amenities available to transit users and the surrounding community, support the continued success of the village's transit-oriented development area, and further the village's economic development objectives by introducing a locally owned, community-focused business to this prominent public facility. I move to accept Resolution 26-43 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee White, seconded by trustee Phil. Any questions, comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do we know what the menu would be? Is it just a coffee shop with donuts in it?
So we're going to be having coffee, lattes, and then there will be muffins, empanadas, and it's sourced by also a local bakery shop in Morton Grove. So we're supporting their business as well. And we're going to be having like nutritious foods as well. Like we'll have fruits and vegetables available for them to buy if they want like water or chips. To just grab, or, orange juice, anything. And, we're always open to whatever the community wants. So we're going to have like a suggestion box too. So if they do want something, or they want like, if they suggest something to us, then they can put it in the suggestion box and then we can provide that as well. And we're flexible with Village of Morton Grove, like if there are any changes or if they want us to put anything, or, flexible with hours or anything else.
Thank you. Welcome to the village.
I'm also a Morton Grove resident as well for past 10 years.
Very nice.
So I'm going to be visiting pretty often too, and making sure that, the property is clean as well.
Thank you.
Great, great. Anybody else? Please call the vote.
Trustee Con?
Aye.
Trustee Meeks?
Aye.
Trustee Phil?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Motion passes 5 with 1 absent.
Thank you. Is that everything?
That's the end of my report. Thank you,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
any other business? Hearing none. Presentation of warrants. Trustee Khan?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to present the warrant register for July 14, 2026 in the amount of $1,499,728.23. And I hereby make a motion to approve the warrant register as presented tonight.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Khan, seconded by trustee Minks. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, please call a vote.
Trustee Con?
Aye.
Trustee Meeks?
Aye.
Trustee Phil?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Passes 5 with 1 absent.
Thank you. Okay, any residents' comments on anything other than what's been on the agenda? Yeah. Please just let us know your name.
My name is Nicole Espinosa. I'm at 5729 Reba Street, and I feel off topic because this doesn't have to do with commercial buildings, but I just wanted to come to thank you guys for having the rodent control program. As a mother and a pet owner and a fourth generation, I'm raising a fourth generation Morton Grove. I've been kind of shocked in the last 2 years to see rodents. I had never seen them here in my whole life. And I feel like we have a lot of people aging in place that really need this program. I had a couple of kind of what I feel like are common sense solution-focused requests, because as this problem has continued, I feel like it's just kind of getting a little more and more out of control. I know Skokie and Evanston are having this issue as well. I'm glad to know you guys work in collaboration with them, but I also wanted to request that the rodent control program offer options other than poison traps. Being a mother and a pet owner, I am very sensitive to this and hoping that we can look at other options like electric traps, glue traps, and rat birth control, which I know are not currently being offered. I've also noticed in the last few years that smaller animals, such as cats in our area, raccoons, skunks, all of them are gone. And I worry that with the poison-controlled program, that's creating this impact. Another request I would like to make is an additional garbage day pickup, and encouraging Skokie to do the same, because my understanding is this problem started to really come to a front when they went from 2 days to 1 day a week of garbage pickup. Also tagging or fining overfilled garbage cans, removing a $75 charge for replacing garbage cans of residential garbage cans. We have a lot of people who maybe can't afford that, and maybe that's why they're not replacing their cans. And then stricter enforcement on homes that are violating code. We've had a couple problematic neighbors, and that has created or exacerbated the situation as well. So I really, again, thank you for having this program, for taking this very seriously. It is a public health issue, and I would just request that maybe additional solutions be looked at as well.
Thank you for the suggestions, they're very
Thank you.
good. And I know Chuck, I see him noting all of them, and something to consider for sure. Thank you. Anybody else? All right, hearing no one, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Khan. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting ends at 8.